Your advice, I think, could be incredibly important at this moment when we have a new ambassador at large. What would you say to Sam Brownback?
Okay, well, if I may make recommendations, my first recommendation would be a political one. We need to break down the wall of silence built around Christian persecution in the world, because we cannot treat the problem as it is neglected, and people try to keep it secret, or more like not people, more like certain political powers and then governments and then parties are trying to do so.
Let me ask you, Tristan, why is that, as you see it? Why is it that governments are turning a blind eye or pretending there's not a problem here?
We claim, our position is that the reason for that is that the persecution of Christians, the fact that Christianity is the most persecuted religion in the world, just does not fit the liberal, so-called PC, dishonest political agenda, which tries to portray Christianity in the world as the aggressive, dominant religion. You know, the religion that limits the lives of other minorities and then try to tell people what's right or not, and otherwise they try to link it to the crusaders of the medieval ages, which is not the case in 2017.
Needless to say. So finish your thought, if you would, as to beyond recognizing that it is a problem, beyond discussing it as a crisis, a genocide, in fact, in some parts of the world, what is it you would call on the United States government, Sam Brownback as its representative, and others to do?
Okay, my second recommendation would be to engage in a direct and personal discussion and get first-hand experience. So I am the Deputy State Secretary leading this program, but I have a minister leading my work, and most government officers who deal with this program in the Hungarian government. We have actually made a trip to the crisis regions. We have made a trip to the war zones to see and talk to the leaders of the Christian communities, and it was absolutely necessary to see their situation and their real need. Okay, so our position is that currently there are two big crisis regions in the world. One is the humanitarian crisis zone, where, for example, Christian minorities, Christian people are being persecuted and murdered because of their faith. So that's a humanitarian crisis zone. But the other one is in the Western world. In the Western world that supposedly Christian-rooted, that was once proud of its Christian heritage and built on the very basic principles of Christianity, but finally diverged from it, and now it's turning against its own Christian identity. So this crisis zone we call the Christian identity zone, which leads to the idea is that we have two things to do. First, save the persecuted Christians of the Middle East, of Asia and Africa, but also to return to the roots, follow our Christian heritage and strengthen our own identity. Otherwise, the invasion of non-Christian migrants to Europe and to the Western world eventually will wipe out the Western culture.